We're not watching the. Ooh, well, I was about to say he say she say. Juke Boy Sports Show. Coming live from Fitboxer Studio, man. How you feeling, Brody?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great. I'm energized today. I had a great weekend. Day in Vegas.
Hey.
I saw my boy.
Did you go?
Yes, I did go.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. I saw my boy Kendrick Lamar looking like India Ari out there.
Hey.
You know, I am not my hair. But it was a wonderful weekend, man. Enjoyed everything, so I can't complain.
That's what's up, bro. I wish I would have been able to get to that one, bro. I really, truly thought about it.
Because I thought you said you were going to go, like, I think one of the days, or Saturday or something like that.
I was thinking about Friday because Kendrick was performing the beginning to the end.
Yeah, he performed from Section 80.
Yeah, so it's like, so I thought that was a dope moment for the culture, just for Day in Vegas. We don't really get too many hip hop festivals, specifically hip hop festivals. So I thought that would have been a dope opportunity. But at the same time, I really wanted to catch Saturday as well. Especially, I know I just was talking stuff about. I didn't really talk stuff about Post Malone, but I was talking about some things that he's done that I think is questionable.
And he was replacing, I believe, Travis Scott.
And I've never seen him in concert before. So
Scott or Malone?
Or Post Malone. I've seen Travis Scott multiple times.
Oh, okay.
And if he would have been there, it would have been something I would have been looking forward to seeing.
Right.
Even amid all of the controversy and all of that, which I don't think that majority of the blame is his fault. But that's a conversation for another day on another show.
You'll get hate mail now.
Exactly.
No.
I accept all hate mail. Right. Love you if you really taking the time to write me a letter, even if it's hate mail.
Right.
Thank you. Because I actually got my first before we get to show roll. I actually got my first hater on a TikTok comment. I was
whoa, yes. Awesome, man! We moving up in the world,
we
bro.
Did that. We did that. I only got like 70 followers, but at least I'm getting haters. That's what's up.
Yep.
But before we get this joint rolling, I am your host, King Ralph, here with the homie and the co-host Kai. We are recording in Fitboxer Studio. Thank you all for watching. But before we get this joint rolling, if you want to record in the studio, shooting in music videos, photo shoots, anything like that, call 707 Fitboxer. And we got a lot of interesting storylines, a lot of injuries over this weekend. A very key signing. So before we get to the three takeaways, we're going to talk about winners and losers.
Okay.
In week 10, who is your biggest loser first?
So, you are the biggest loser, or should I say, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. If you guys remember that show, man, some of you generation, what is it, Z or X people? I don't know. You probably don't remember that. We're millennials over here, but
Right.
So the biggest loser, aka the weakest link. Goodbye. For this week 10 of the NFL, is the man who can't even insure his own body, yet he has Progressive Insurance commercials. It is the one, Faker, a.k.a. Baker Mayfield, man. Come on, bro. Baker Mayfield, man. This dude, a pair of number one picks I'm going to be talking about for the winner and the loser. But for the loser, Baker Mayfield, Cleveland Browns, they got destroyed, Ralph.
Yeah.
45-7 by the New England Patriots, who right now are actually on a great win streak, I must say. But Baker Mayfield, this is a guy who, you get rid of Odell Beckham Jr. You felt that Odell Beckham Jr. was the issue with the Cleveland Browns.
Sure.
And I will say that when the Browns, they perform better when they're relying on that running game.
Yep.
And, using that play action. And Baker Mayfield, he started off the game when they moved down. I believe it was 11-play, 83-yard drive for a touchdown. And then after that, they got shut out for the rest of the game. He got injured when there was pretty much down, I believe, 31 points. The New England Patriots put on the board by the time that Baker went out. He had 73 pass yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, then he got injured into the game. And I just feel like the Cleveland Browns, they had a golden opportunity in terms of the fact that you had the Baltimore Ravens losing, The Pittsburgh Steelers wound up tying with the Detroit Lions. They could also be a loser for this week, which is something that you definitely don't want to do. A Lions team that, was inability to get wins. But Baker Mayfield, number one pick, someone who was, I believe he had a rookie record with Peyton Manning in terms of wins and passing yards and all that kind of different jargon that people like to put out there about Baker Mayfield. And I just feel like at this point in time in his career, when I look at the Josh Allens of the world, when I look at the Lamar Jacksons of the world, what has Baker Mayfield proven, right, so far? So for this win by the Patriots to come in there and blow the brakes off of the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield has to be my biggest loser. So that's going to be my biggest loser for me. What about you?
So I've been kind of mulling. And originally, I wrote down the biggest loser for this week
Biggest loser.
as the Redskins. Not for any reason of
Didn't they win?
They won.
Okay.
But
okay, break this down.
But originally I wrote them down for the sake of injuries. Losing a Chase Young on one side, you already had lost Montez Sweat on the other side. So I just think for the 4 run, and you're the loser because I just don't see it in. I think that they, outside of the quarterback position, had the best chance of competing with the Cowboys for the division. But after sitting here thinking about it, 5 turnovers and having your coach publicly call you out. Although people think you're the GOAT, and I still can't do it, bro.
Hey, but you can have your personal goal, and that's perfectly fine. Just like I have my personal goal in basketball.
And so I think that Tom Brady, man, it has to be it's 5 turnovers, bro. And I know that a lot of people, and it's funny when I started thinking of watching, when you go, if y'all haven't done this already, just go look up commentators, analysts, and whatnot talking about it. The first thing that they start bringing up is the defense, and it's like he doesn't throw the ball to his defense. Right. So why are you bringing up the fact that his corners are hurt? It's like, bro, nah, he's still got Godwin. He's still got, I think O.J. Howard is still playing.
Evans.
He still has Mike Evans, and you still got a staple of running backs.
Yeah.
So, like, although AB might not be playing, Gronk might not be playing, you still got a plethora of weapons that other people would like my Raiders.
Yeah.
We lose Ruggs. That immediately it shows a huge gap in the ability to take the top off the defense. Now we get a Deshaun Jackson, but it's like his ability to run certain routes is not really there. Ruggs could run certain routes that Deshaun Jackson cannot.
Right.
And so, especially at his age right now, I think Deshaun Jackson's 34 now.
Yeah, 34, 35. Yeah,
right.
He's
probably he still obviously you see it in that play where he fumbled. Yeah. He still has the ability to take the top off of defense.
Yeah, still got the juice.
Right. So as long as he's able to shore up those hands, it's a difference. But it is definitely a difference between that route running ability with that speed versus just running 9 routes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but then when you go back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's like you still got Godwin, you still got Mike Evans, you still got Fournette, Giovanni Bernard, Ronald Jones. You still got a plethora of weapons. So for you to play that bad, and it goes to I love that whole soundbite because I'm sitting there and I'm waiting on Tar to come pull up so we could watch football. But I'm sitting there and I'm watching the press conferences and all of that, and I seen Arians was like, nah, that's not on the receivers, that's on him. 5 turnovers, that's on him.
Right.
And I was like, yes, this is exactly why I love this man. But so for me, Tom Brady is my biggest loser in Week 10, man.
Okay.
Too many turnovers, bro, for you to be the GOAT.
I think that's big. Just going to piggyback real quick, make it brief and short on that. I think the fact, I like that because it's the fact that when you're the quarterback, for much is given, and you're the GOAT, consider the GOAT, because it's GOAT. For much is given, much is required.
Exactly.
And it's you're the one who controls the time of possession, the offense, and you're turning the ball over to the other team. And we have a lot of questions already about that back end of the defense, and now the quarterback is putting the defense, who's already, I guess you could say, undermanned back there in more precarious positions to succeed. So, yeah. All right, so then we go to the biggest winner. Finish up. For me, it's Cam. Browns are ham, but he was no ham this week. This dude was the grand prize this week for his ability to come back on a with very limited time, pretty much implement and score a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown in the first half, blow out the Arizona Cardinals 34-10. I know they didn't have Kyler Murray. I know they didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, but the fact they actually were to do this on the road was key for me. I believe the fact that this is a quarterback who we talked about, we didn't believe he should be out of the league.
Right.
We look at some of the quarterbacks in the league right now. We look at a Zach Wilson, first round pick, looking like struggle. We look at Mike White, who said that, didn't he say? He said, I should have been a first round, number one pick overall, or something like that. He had a sound bite. Okay. Looking like struggle. Baker Mayfield, looking like struggle. I mean, we can go down the list. Yeah, Jared Goff, looking like struggle. Okay.
He's been a struggle his whole career.
His whole entire career. So we're looking around the landscape of the league, and for him to come back, for the coaching staff to be able to swallow their own pride and bring Cam Newton back, and Cam Newton to be able to give them a jolt of energy in that
actually
game.
Surprised me. So shout out to them.
Yeah. That also, they're definitely shout out to them. So for him to give him a jolt of energy, Ralph, I'm happy for Cam. And I think he's the biggest winner just because he was literally sitting out. I'm sure he was, working out, getting his workouts, and because I follow him on IG. But that's really it for me for the biggest winner, man.
The biggest winner for me, man, I was gonna go Cam, but for the sake of not of not just talking about the same old people, I gotta go with the Kansas City Chiefs, man. We went into it. A lot of talk about them and their inability, or just not even the inability to run the football. It's just whether or not are they going to go out there and run the football. And like they didn't run the football like they should have, but one of the things that it was a couple of different things that was being talked about with the Chiefs. It was when it comes to Mahomes, when you watch the tape and you watch film, it's like, all right, so you got all of these opportunities in the mid part of the field, but you keep throwing the ball down the field. There's like multiple plays where Mahomes is throwing it in a double, triple coverage for Tyreek and Hartman, but at the same time, you're seeing Kelsey and Williams just being wide open in the mid part of the field. So you finally see Kelsey have one of his big games. No touchdowns, but eight receptions for 120 with 10 targets. Mahomes has over 400 yards throwing with 70% completion percentage and 5 touchdowns. And they have over 500 yards in total offense. And they just straight dismantled my Raiders. But at the same time, like, I got to defend my boys. Yep. There was a certain part of the game where we had an opportunity to be in it. Yep. It just was too many turnovers, too many drop passes, and too many mental lapses.
I don't know what Derek Carr was doing on that one when he just threw it up. And like, Ralph, like, what is it with certain quarterbacks? And I'm not trying to put on Derek Carr, but I saw Stafford do it. Like, why aren't you taking the sack? What are you so afraid of?
Sometimes just take the sack. I think that one of the things is like,
I just don't like when they do that, bro. Just throw it up in the sky.
I don't know. I would have to go back and watch because there's like sometimes you believe in yourself a little too much. Yeah. And it's one of those things where if I can get this ball off cleanly to the point where I can get enough on it, Bros is open. But it's just a matter of I got this person running at me right now.
He just flung it up in the air. At least that's what it looked like to me.
So
I didn't
like,
know who he was
so like it's so Edwards was open.
Okay.
Or was further down the field. So because if you watch it, he's the one coming back to the ball to try to knock it out of whoever's hand who ended up catching it. I think it was Sorensen that ended up catching it.
Oh yeah, 49. Yeah.
But like, so for me, it makes me think like, all right, only way I can think of is he's thinking that the person is open down the field. So if I can get it to him, he's open. Right. But it's just a matter of you got somebody running at you right now, hitting your arm. So that's why the ball goes up in the air instead of going to who it was supposed to.
Right.
So that's what I really think of. But not Patriots, but Kansas City Chiefs offense, biggest winners of Week 10 for me. Tom Brady, my biggest loser. And we transition over to the 3 takeaways from week 10. I'm gonna go first.
All right, set it up
because you went first last one. So to piggyback off of what you were talking about with Cam, I think that if Cam can come in and continue this energy, we all know Cam to be a great leader. Mm-hmm. People want to play for Cam. Mm-hmm. People like playing for Cam, regardless of the whole notion of him being a bad teammate from 2 people that really never did anything.
Right, which is so random. Just came out of left field, it felt like.
And So with them, like I think that Cam gives them a breath of fresh air and a second chance.
Okay.
If you're looking at the rankings right now, I gotta go back and look, but I
The
think
NFC, what is it? South.
I think
Yeah, 'cause the
that the
Saints lost.
Panthers are at what are they at 5-5? Let's look. And give me a moment to look at this. Yeah, so they're at 5-5.
Okay.
Yep. So we're looking at 5-5 right now. Which right now, if the playoffs were to start, they would get one of the wild card spots. So it was just 17 weeks in the season.
Yeah.
We're in week 10 right now.
Yeah, 17.
So there's plenty of football left. And I think that with the injuries that are happening with the Buccaneers, where they're looking at 6-3 right now, and you have I think that's in 2 weeks. If it's not next, no. So this week they play the Washington football team. Thank God I didn't say the other word.
Right.
'Cause I got a bad habit of that.
Still getting adjusted to that.
Right. But next week they got Washington football team, and I think they still have 2 meetings against the Buccaneers.
The Panthers?
Yeah.
I believe so. I don't think they played. Yeah, I think so.
And so far, Cam is 2-0
Yep.
against Tom Brady.
And he's beat him in Foxborough. Now
Right.
it's a different
Yeah.
area, but I mean their secondary is still
Right.
looking shaky.
Right. So it's like it's up for the taking. The division is up for the taking. Saints playing kind of bad right now. Coming off 2 losses back to back after defeating the Buccaneers. But that puts you in a certain position of where the division is up for taking. So for me, I think that my first one, I'm gonna go Panthers have a chance to win the division. And Cam gives them a second chance. Breath of fresh air.
Okay. So I'm going to hit you guys with something very interesting. Well, I don't want to say interesting, but I think we can all agree with so far, mainly the AFC. I think both conferences, there's a little bit of openness to it, but I think we're starting to see some teams emerge slowly, at least in this week.
Right.
They say the AFC, and I mentioned this on the last podcast show that we did. It seems like there's a new team each week. And if I'm going to be all serious, with all due respect to the Tennessee Titans, with all due respect, because I think they're a top 3 team, and I think there's certain people out there, just because I saw one ranking. I know it's just one ranking or whatever, but he was just disrespecting them, had them like the 8th best team. But anyway,
Right.
That's major cap. I believe that the New England Patriots are arguably the most dangerous team in the AFC. And I think that's kind of the narrative that's starting to come out now. You're starting to see all these different talk shows, but I'm going to tell you guys why. First, they're 6-4. This is a team that last season, we talked about this probably last season. Cam Newton had COVID. They were devoid of weaponry, right? Okay, you bring in weapons that we thought were going to help Cam. Now they're Mac Jones weapons, but now they went from missing the playoffs last year to now being 6-4 to being a half a game back from the Buffalo Bills with a chance to win the division. And I believe the BPI or whatever index has them as an 82% chance to make the playoffs, and they also have a chance to win the division now. So that's really, really huge. Bill Belichick has had all these.
And they play the Bills twice, too.
Right. They play the Bills twice, and that's going to have implications on seeding, on the division as well. And Bill Belichick has made all these quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, all these different quarterbacks look pedestrian or just straight out bad, okay? They blew out the Browns, who had the best pass rush in the NFL, 45-7. I got my notes here. They're second in opponents' points per game. Mac Jones, he had 3 interceptions in week 3, but since then he has 103 quarterback rating.
Right.
The rookie record for quarterback rating was set by Dak Prescott at 104. So you already have Mac Jones not turning the ball over, scoring touchdowns. He displayed great poise versus Tom Brady in the Bucs in his return to Foxborough. And so we talked about that in our that one episode, and I was like, okay, so now he has that poise.
Right.
And that gives me low-key a little bit of confidence if they go into the playoffs, they get to the playoffs, that maybe this dude is right. But also the reason why I like the Patriots, Ralph, is this. Tom Brady, just like Mike Vrabel, he has a style. I think they have an identity. The Patriots have an identity. Everyone wants the running quarterback, right? My team has it. Cardinals have it. The Bills have it. But Bill Belichick's like, no, I won 6 Super Bowls my way.
Right.
I took Matthew Judon from the Baltimore Ravens and look at the defense, what they're doing. Okay, I got rid of Stephon Gilmore. People are like, what? You got rid of Stephon Gilmore. And my defense is getting to people, doing different things. And then I'm going to implement this into it, right? Mac Jones is a Rookie of the Year candidate. So if you remember last season, Justin Jefferson and Justin Herbert, right, two Justins, they came down to, okay, who's the Rookie of the Year, right? Well, what happened? Justin Herbert won because he had the better record. I always say past history is the best indicator for future success, right? Well, this year it's a two-man race so far. It's Mac Jones, for the best odds it is, Mac Jones and Jamar Chase from the Bengals.
Right.
The Bengals are on the downturn. The Patriots are on the upturn. And just like last year, if Mac Jones wins the division as a rookie, continues to win games, continues to not turn the ball over, you could see history repeating itself where the quarterback beats out the wide receiver, and Mac Jones could be the Rookie of the Year. So I think when you look at the Patriots having a winning record, having a chance to win the division, half game back behind the Bills, Rookie of the Year candidate, and you have Bill Belichick, who's a great, with scheming and has Super Bowl experience and Super Bowl success. I think we need to really start looking at the Patriots as potentially the team to beat in the AFC. I will put them up there with the Tennessee Titans right now, the Buffalo Bills. I think statistically they have the stats, but games are not, Super Bowls are not won on Excel spreadsheets.
True.
So Mac Jones, yeah, you could say, well, he doesn't have playoff experience, but sometimes it's just the system that works. And that might be a reason why you don't feel that Tom Brady is the GOAT either.
Right.
Because you might just believe in the system, which is fine, because I've heard that.
Yeah.
So that's just my little takeaway from that. All right, and we can run down the next two.
For me, number 2 is if the Bucks don't get any kind of healthy when it comes to these DBs. It's gonna be
night.
It's gonna be night.
Okay, no, that's it. All right.
It is definitely gonna be night. We're just seeing them just getting burned out there. And at this point, they're not even really creating a pass rush either.
Right.
So
I think they have some injuries too. I think, but they're just not getting guys back.
Yeah. So it's like it's one of those things where one is a longer season, so it also opens it up for more people to be able to come back. But at the same time, it's more opportunities for people to get hurt. So right now, it's just the Bucks just don't look good. Tom Brady's looking little suspect over the last couple games, but it's like but when it comes to these DBs, man, they're just losing. They lost a lot of really good DBs, and then the people that they're signing after that are getting hurt too.
Right.
So it's like 3 out of their 4 starting DBs are out. So if they don't get those guys back, or even if they can get 2 out of the 3, I think they'll be fine.
Okay.
But as of right now, with just having one of the 4 is not looking real good right now. So for me, I don't really see the Bucks. I still think they have enough to make the playoffs. Okay. So I'm not going to go that far. They'd be going way too far. But I do think that if they don't get healthy at those positions, and when it comes to playoff time, they're going to struggle in the playoffs.
All right. Well, I'm going to segue with that in terms of, because you're talking about a team that a lot of people had going to the Super Bowl, even winning the Super Bowl. Brady said, oh, yeah, we'll be back, when they said, at the podium. And he was so adamant about coming back, right? Well, I'm just going to keep it real, because that's what me and Ralph, we do on this show. And we've had our reservations about certain teams, and I hate using the word fraudulent. Sometimes I say teams look funny in the light.
Right.
But I'm very real, and I'm very objective about my team. And I'm going to say it. Bro, I don't think – look, well, they wouldn't know because they weren't near me. I was beyond pissed. Bro, I'm just going to say it. I was beyond pissed when the Ravens lost to the Dolphins. I was visibly mad, bro. Visibly mad. But, it's football. But I was angry. I was so angry. And I understand we have a lot of injuries. So when I use this particular term, it's like, but bro, you have injuries, yes. But at some point, you can't use everything as an excuse, right? Sometimes you just have to face reality, though. There's reality due to the injuries, but also there's still a level of where you need to play as a good football team.
Right.
Ralph, I truly believe the Baltimore Ravens are the most overrated team with a winning record. That is, the most overrated team with a winning record in the AFC when I look at it. that has when you're talking about like Super Bowl contenders, all that. And the reason why I'm sitting there, and I was talking to my dad about this. What did we always say? We've been saying this for 3 years. Greg Roman.
Right.
I even said that if we were going to the Super Bowl, I felt at some point in time we need to fire Greg Roman.
Right.
Well, we just released Le'Veon Bell. So I don't know if you heard about that. We released Le'Veon Bell. So
I saw that before we
right
started recording.
Yeah, Tyson Williams, he played well, but then he had like a fumble, and he's not a good at pass blocking at all. But they canned him once he had the fumble, and they never went back to him. But none of your other running backs are really giving you any juice. Mm-hmm. Okay. The offensive line is horrible. It's horrible. The offensive line is horrible outside of one player. Mm-hmm. We have no consistency. They ran zero blitz. They didn't call quick slants underneath routes. We have no hurry up offense. The defense is atrocious. We're in the same tier and breadth of statistically as the 2013 Cowboys. Our linebacking core, every time we watch the Ravens, we can't tackle. We needed a field goal to beat the Detroit Lions. We couldn't score or generate any offense versus the Dolphins. We got blown out versus Cincinnati Bengals. And we talk about Lamar Jackson as the most valuable player. But what has been the narrative also, and me and you talked about this, you can't just rely on one guy to win in football. I'm sorry. At some point, you just have to be realistic about the team.
Yeah.
I believe the team is bad. It's one thing to like the idea of a team. It's one thing to have faith in the team, but it's another thing to have blind faith.
Yeah.
And the worst lie is the one you tell ourselves. And it's very sad because this is a contract year for Lamar Jackson. Now, I actually believe he's going to stay because everyone can say, oh, well, we want Lamar, but all these coaches don't want to admit that they're wrong about Lamar Jackson.
Right.
And he's not going to leave a team that took a chance on him.
Right.
But I believe that you fail him when you have Greg Roman, you still have him there.
Right.
And then when you look at it from outside looking in, if I just gave you a blind reveal and I gave you two names, Greg Roman and Rob Ryan, not Rex Ryan, but Greg Roman and Rob Ryan, you're like, wait a second. When you look at it, both those guys aren't really good. Now, Roman has really good run scheme and all that, but outside of the run scheme, he doesn't know how to do a passing game.
Right.
And you've been telling me all the time, you're like, bro, they need to open the offense up. Open the offense up for him. Rob Ryan, I say he's the imposter. I told everyone, we got the wrong Ryan, bro.
Right.
Rex Ryan, the one who came out and talked about Robert Saleh and all that kind of stuff. You can say what you want to say. Why is he coming at Robert Saleh? Well, I'll give you something real quick. This is my last point. Rex Ryan was the defensive coordinator on the 2000 Ravens that won the Super Bowl. And he was the only person to lead the Jets in the last 10 years or 15 years to 2 AFC championship games.
Right.
So we have to put some respect on Rex Ryan. As a head coach is one thing. As a defensive coordinator, he's pretty damn good.
Right.
So when I look at the linebacking core, and we specifically, it was told to the fan base, we're bringing in Rob Ryan to develop the linebackers. I was like, wait a second. Rob Ryan, with all due respect, low-key sucks, bro.
Yeah.
Look at the Cowboys defenses. Right. So my takeaway with that is I truly believe that the Baltimore Ravens are the most overrated winning team in the AFC, and something has to change. I'm sorry, bro. And I like Rashad Bateman. He's catching everything.
Right.
But you need to, at some point, put the ball in the people's hands that are catching. Defensively, we're losing people. It's just bad.
Yeah.
We're just bad, bro.
And then to finish off my third and final takeaway from Week 10, and this is no shade. Yeah. I don't think that this is a bad thing. At this point in his career, I mean, what is it? Diggs' second year in the league?
Yeah.
So as a second-year player, you're leading the league in interceptions. So I don't think that.
I thought you were going to say Stephon Diggs. I was like, what?
But Trayvon Diggs is not a shutdown corner. He is a ball hawk.
Skip Bayless going to be at your door.
What up, Skip? Shout out to Skip. Skip. Let me tell you something, Skip. But for real though, if you watch just that whole sequence with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Pick six, one play, very next offensive play, burnt for 70 yards.
Okay.
So it's but on that play as well, you could kind of say all right, maybe he was expected to have safety help, and the safety didn't play that ball well. But regardless of the matter, you still got burnt when it was your man that you're guarding. And then when you go and look at the numbers, it's about his people that he guards has about a 60%, just about a 60% catch rate on targets versus the actual receptions that they make. And it's yo, come on, man. At a certain point, that's a little too high.
Right.
When it comes to being a shutdown corner. But at the same time, I don't think that it's a problem as long as, because how many defenses have we seen?
Right.
that ended up winning Super Bowls that had that bend but don't break mentality. Like, even if we go back to the Saints that won the Super Bowl, they didn't have a dominant defense. They just did a really good job of turning the ball over.
The Chiefs.
And Chiefs as well, getting the ball back into the offense.
Right.
And giving the ball back to the offense. So I don't think that it's a problem. He's only a second-year player. He's going to keep developing. We seen the Hard Knocks when he was talking stuff to Amari, but Amari had to let him know what was good.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, yeah. So like for me, I don't think it's any shade, no shade to the bros. But at this point in his career, he is not a shutdown corner. He is not. I wouldn't even put him.
Would you think he's top 10 though? Still,
he's definitely top 10. I'd probably say I put him at least 7 or 8 at this point.
That second tier of corner.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. He's definitely in that second tier as of right now. He just hasn't had enough. I think sometimes we kind of get, when certain people get injured, when people have a down season, we start going a little bit too much with what's going on, where it's like all right, so Stephon Gilmore, how we go from 2 years ago he was a defensive player of the year to like now people are like, oh, right. He's washed.
I was like, what?
But you see how well he's playing with that Panthers defense. So It is what it is. But that's my third takeaway.
All right. I like that. And I need to cool my mic off after that ether I was spitting on my last topic, man. Man, Kai, you was heated, man. Watch the Ravens win 7 in a row now.
Right. That'd be crazy.
Oh, man. If we lose to Justin Fields, don't get me started. But anyway, for the sake of time, my last one's fairly quick. Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number. Okay. 6-3 record in 9 meetings versus the Rams. They got their bleeps kicked and won 5 straight meetings. I really have nothing left to say on that, bro. Like, Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number, and I think also when you look at, them coming underneath the same, tree and all that, it's the fact that Sean McVay he overdoes it. And it's like, I want to prove I'm the best. And bro, it's like, chill. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I mean, you look at the Rams, Odell really didn't have much time to ingratiate himself in the offense. I understand that. But the 49ers, they said Kyle Juszczyk, shout out to Kyle Juszczyk, former Baltimore Raven. He said we're going to come out there and be physical on them. And they did just that, and they beat the brakes off them. So until further notice, Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number. All right.
Yeah, because I was going to have that actually be the Rams be one of my takeaways.
Okay.
When you get big names like that, you can't expect them to come in right away.
Yeah, you need chemistry.
And be what they were supposed to be. Like, you get a Von Miller on defense, and you get an Odell Beckham on offense. Like, you can't expect them to be Odell right away.
Right.
So even the fact that he was playing,
I know. But Robert Woods tore that ACL, and I was like, what? I was like playing Xbox, and I got the notification. I was like, what?
Because my dad was like, I don't think they needed him, and I was just like, well, they do now. He was like, why you say that? I was like, because Robert Woods tore his ACL. I was like, that part caught me super off guard.
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is. So we're gonna see what happened. But with this next segment, we're gonna switch over to some college football, man.
Challenge.
And like, it's one of those things that when it gets to this time of year, every year we start talking about college football rankings. But it's like when you start looking at some of the things, like going into this week, we had an undefeated Oklahoma team. We have an undefeated Georgia team, and then we have an undefeated Cincinnati team. Mm-hmm. And then, although we have 3 teams that were undefeated, there was only one undefeated team in the top four spots. Mm-hmm. And then you got an Ohio State team, my boys, with a 1 loss, Oregon with a 1 loss, Alabama with a 1 loss, and going into before this week, they were coming off of barely beating a terrible LSU team. Yep. And then this week they go and they smack New Mexico State. So it's like, yo, come on, man. Like, at a certain point, like, what are we really talking about here? Why are some of these teams that we look at that are 1-loss teams versus other 1-loss teams, and you go and look at I really just believe, is college football focusing too much on names?
On cachet
instead of actually strength of schedule and what's going on when they actually play these teams.
Yeah, so I looked at the rankings and I was like, and I'm like, you can make the case. At the same time, whenever I look at a team like the Cincinnati Bearcats, the Cincinnati Bearcats, and no disrespect, by the way. And I'm looking at, okay, who you played. I'm like, you won 10 games in a row. It makes me a little skeptical. But then I look at Georgia and Alabama. Georgia. Every time I say Georgia, I wish we could play that Ludacris soundtrack, man. Georgia.
That was a good one.
Yeah, but anyway, we're not here for jukebox, on that one. But we're the Juke Boys, though. But Georgia, you didn't mention that I believe it was Alabama played Florida as well as Georgia. Now, right. Alabama had close games versus Florida and LSU.
Right.
And so that's what kind of gave me cause to pause, where that would make me sort of move them down underneath a Cincinnati,
right,
or Ohio State teams that
Florida's not even ranked.
Right, because Florida's not even ranked, but Georgia beat the brakes off them.
Right,
I believe they beat them like 34-7. So I don't have any problem with Georgia, but I believe that with Alabama, you're looking at Nick Saban, you're looking at his history, you're looking at the cachet of the team, and I think that they're personally getting brownie points for that. They're getting. They're not getting the other teams are not getting a fair shake that are underneath Alabama Crimson Tide. So if it was me personally, I wouldn't have them in the 2 spot. I would personally have them lower. Also, it's early in the season, but still, man, you got to look at the strength of schedule that you're playing and how you're actually narrowly beating these teams. I understand it's the SEC, but if it's the SEC and these teams aren't ranked, but you're struggling versus the ranked teams, and you believe that you're the Dondada, then why aren't you doing what Georgia just did Georgia did weeks back against Florida?
Exactly.
So when I personally saw the rankings, when you hit me up about it, like, yo, let's talk about that, I was like, okay. And I'm like, nah, I just can't get behind Alabama, me personally, Alabama being the second ranked team in the country.
Right.
I just don't see it. So what's your takeaway on that one?
Like, when we start, like, the thing for me is when we start talking about Alabama,
games, yeah.
Because I'm like, yo, I don't agree with the Alabama. A part of me, honestly,
31-29.
When you go back and you went, like, I get it, because and it's not even me being biased.
Okay.
The one thing I do think that Cincinnati deserves to be in the top 4. You really can't help what division you're in.
That's true. You just can only beat.
You can only beat the teams that you play. But then when you go and you look at previous bowl seasons, if we're gonna pay attention to how, like, because I get it, it's this dude RJ Young that I watch. He has the show. I think it's like the #1 ranked show or something like that. But he talks specifically about college football, and so he was talking about, like, Oklahoma. Oklahoma lost this week, so we're not even gonna bring them up in this conversation. I just brought them up because to use the example that there were 3 undefeated teams at one point, and that now there's only 2.
Right.
And none of the other 2 undefeated teams weren't even close to. I think Cincinnati was at 5, which puts them like 1 out of the top 4. But
yeah, they ranked them 3 for this. Well, yeah.
But in the AP press, they're in the top 4.
Oh, yeah.
But in the college football ranking, they're not in it. So it's like, what are we really looking at here? So it's like, when you go and you look at Cincinnati's history over the last couple of years, I think since they got Luke Fickell,
and they beat Notre Dame, who was 6th ranked at the time, back in October 2nd.
Right. So it's like they've beat some good teams. So it's like, I don't get why are they not? If you got them at 3 in the Associated poll, Associated Press poll, why would you put them? Why wouldn't you have them in the top 4 when it comes to the college football ranking? And that's the thing for me when we start having about these conversations. It's like, I don't like the different rankings, because it's like, all right, if we already had the 2 rankings before we got to the college football ranking, because the other ones, they do that weekly. The college football playoff ranking doesn't happen until week 10.
Yeah. So
it's like, what's the point of those other 2 ranking systems if they don't matter when it comes to this college football one? You can, like, it's like year after year we look and we see that the other 2 will have this 4 teams, and then the playoff football one will have these 2 teams at 6 and 7, and it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, bro. And I think for me, it's like, I think what they need to do is they need to justify the rankings in terms of, okay, break down why you have those different, rankings,
yes,
and the criteria for it. just like when you look at NFL or NBA, well, I know NBA has like the NBA.com, et cetera, different things, but you have analytical rankings.
Right.
Are these rankings based off of analytics, different team statistics, and advanced metrics? Or is this based off of strength of schedule, or is it a combination of different things? Like if you're having a separate ranking based off what the analytics say, you know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. But when I see the AP top 25 and you have Alabama all the way at number 2 and you have Cincinnati at number 3, but then on the other ranking it's like, okay, Cincinnati's number 5. Like that doesn't make sense when they already beat a ranked team that was a top 10 ranked team at the time that they beat them.
Right.
And Alabama, how many top 10 ranked teams has Alabama beat? And they're struggling against the teams that are in their own conference.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like you said, there needs to be some type of justification. Is this based off of analytics? What is this based off of? And all it tells me, honestly, is you're using cachet and you're using past history for Alabama. But you cannot always do that. Mm-hmm. Just like when people thought, Clemson was going to run the table, last year and different things of that nature. At some point, you're going to get beat, bro.
Right.
Like it's okay, unless Nick Saban, and I'm not saying he's doing this, but unless he's paying these guys underneath the table some money, you know what I'm saying, some funds, hey, make it is what it is. So that's really my my take on it. And I personally don't agree with the rankings, at least for this week. I really don't. So
yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens because as of right now, I don't think that they officially put out this week's rankings, but as of right now, it's predicted that that the top 4 is not going to change from week to week. As of right now, we got Georgia at 1, Alabama at 2, Oregon at 3, and the Ohio State Buckeyes at 4. Now, the Buckeyes play Michigan State, which is at 7, which was another previously undefeated team a couple weeks ago. And then they just got done. They beat Purdue, who beat the number 2 Iowa team pretty handily, but Ohio State beat that team 59-31. So they're coming off of a very dominant win, so we're going to see what happens with that. Yeah. Next topic. Terrence Crawford fights Sean Porter, man. Ding, ding, ding. We're going to talk about some good old boxing, man. I'm actually very much looking forward to this fight. This isn't the fight that we wanted to see.
No.
We're still waiting for that Terrence Crawford Earl Spence fight. Sean Porter has already fought Earl Spence.
Yeah.
So now we're going to see him against Terrence Crawford, and hopefully with this fight getting this fight out the way, depending on the outcome, we'll either see another Sean Porter Earl Spence fight, or we'll possibly get that Crawford Spence fight that we've been looking for.
Right.
I'm a huge fan of Sean Porter. I've personally been around him multiple times. Great guy, very hard worker, hard nosed. He's going to continue to keep coming at you. So, what are your thoughts on this fight, bro?
So first of all,
and prediction as well.
Yeah. So, my thoughts on it so far is I'm looking at the fight. I know you mentioned that's not the fight that we want to see, but I believe it as a lead-up fight, it's actually a good fight.
Right.
A good matchup because I always say styles make fights.
Exactly.
And you have Terrence Crawford, somebody who can kind of give you a little bit of different of both. Mm-hmm. He's really good at boxing inside as well as he can hit you from outside range, close range, physical fighter. Now, Porter is really, really physical as well. So that's going to be something that's really huge. But I'm looking at the fight and I'm looking at the ages of both fighters. They're both 34 years old. And I think that the style of the fight is going to be very interesting because you're looking at Crawford, he's southpaw, right? He's southpaw, but he has the speed and he also has the punching power that you have to watch out for. Now, when you look at Porter, he wants to make everybody play or box his style, right, or box into or feed into what he's doing. Right,
he's trying to muck up the fight.
Yeah, muck up the fight, make it hard to judge with the hits. He wants to beat and bruise you to death. And so with Terrence Crawford, right, he's strategic. He has the fight IQ, the boxing IQ, where it's like, okay, let me not fall into the trap of the Spence and different things that other fighters fell into. So I think that personally, this fight is going to be close. I really do. I think that Crawford's going to come in there and try to actually prove that he can knock Porter out. And so that's going to be the key. Now, is he going to be able to do it? That's yet to be seen. He does have 28 knockouts. 34 other opponents that Porter actually faced weren't able to knock him out.
Right.
But
that's a hard dude to knock out.
It's a hard.
He's got a great chin.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. He's a great chin. So he can eat those punches. So it's going to be
And
crazy.
he's going to continue to keep coming at you. So
Yeah.
you got to.
Right.
You're going to have to be in better shape than him, or even be a better boxer than he is.
Yeah. Can you have the stamina? You need to be
Yeah.
in the best shape of your life when you're going up against this fighter.
Yes.
But he's no joke. I mean, look, I actually put down the number, not the number, but some of the fighters that he's already boxed. The one thing with Porter is he's actually been able to box some of these fighters in his prime.
Right.
And so that's key. He's not running away from. So you have Devon Alexander, who's 25-1 in his prime. Kell Brook, 32-0. Adrian Bronner, we know him,
Yeah.
31.
He worked him.
Yeah. Keith Thurman, you know who fought Pacquiao. Pacquiao worked him as well.
He should. That actually, I watched that fight.
Yeah.
Porter won that fight, bro.
Yeah, Porter, yep. Danny Garcia, 34-1. Ugas and Spence.
I think he beat him too.
Yeah.
I think he beat Danny.
And then he had former champions, Paulie Maligan. I can never pronounce his last name. I'll just call him Paulie M. And Andre Berto. So he has a nice resume with his fights. So when they say, oh, I give him a fighter's chance, a puncher's chance. Well, with this thing, I'm going to give him a little more than a puncher's chance because he punches hard. It's just being smart. I think the IQ of Terrence Crawford, I think overall is going to wind up winning out. But I wouldn't be upset with anybody putting money on your boy for this fight. I think this fight is going to be a really exciting fight. I know you said, I don't think you said you're going to be able to quite catch it.
Yeah, because I work. I'm bartending Saturday night.
Yeah.
At Soul Belly. Y'all come on down now.
Will they have the
You want some good
TVs?
barbecue? Nah, bro. Like I be.
Yeah, they got to have something.
They're more focused on like because we have live music from 8 to 11.
Okay, right.
So they're more focused on trying to have the nightlife rather than to have the actual.
Yeah.
I wish, bro.
Yeah.
But like.
But it's gonna be it's still gonna be a fun fight. I just like the fact that you have both. I'll put it like this: someone's gonna get touched up.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be. It's definitely gonna be some. There's gonna be some hands.
Right.
Some hands will be thrown.
Yes. Sharkeisha, no.
People will be blessed.
Yeah.
By the end of this fight,
laying them praying hands on him.
Yeah, they go. There's some hands will be thrown. Because the one thing I love about Porter, bro, is that like he's just gonna continue to keep coming at you, like I've been mentioning, and like
you can get in your head.
And you look at some of the fighters that he's fought, like an Andre Berto, he beat him. He beat before he beat Adrian Broner. Before Adrian Broner had that fall off, it was like, and for me, I watched the Keith Thurman Porter fight. I feel like he won that one. So to me, coming off of a fight where, even a lot of people felt like Spence didn't dominate that Porter fight.
Yeah.
So the fight was up in the air for some people. I remember watching, and I watched that fight too. And I remember sitting there thinking like, all right, I do think Spence did outpoint him. But I think even in the post, Porter said he felt like he won. Yeah. And I remember watching the fight with some people, and they felt like Porter won. So like I don't remember the Brook fight. So for me to say like whether or not he won that one, because that was his first loss. But outside of that, like I don't really. It's like 2 of the 3 losses that he has
could have been wins.
People are arguing that he won those fights. So for me, I do think that it's going to be a good fight, man. I'm really very much looking forward to it. If you're not going to give me a Crawford Spence fight, then I'm more than comfortable. And I know I talked a lot of stuff because I was just like, if you fight anybody but Spence, I don't want to watch this. Yeah. But like I would, if I wasn't at work, I would be watching it.
Now, do you think Porter's going to win? Honestly, or you want more time with?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Would it be close?
I don't think so. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
That's what I said.
I'm not gonna because I do think that Spence and Crawford are the cream of the crop when it comes to that division. But at the same time, I don't think that it's just styles make fights, bro. Like the way that Porter fights, you gotta. The only way to beat him is to outbox him. And Crawford has the ability to outbox him because you're not knocking him out. That's not one. That's just not. I would be willing to put my money on it, all the money that I have in my account, on the fact that Porter doesn't get knocked out.
All right.
Like I just think that the odds of that happening is just so unlikely.
3%.
Yeah, bro. It's like a 2 or 3% chance of that joint happening. It's just not finna happen, bro. So like,
He ain't getting rocked.
Right. Like I've seen him hit cleanly too, and it's like I've seen him like a little hurt, but like he ain't getting
right. He ain't getting chin checked like that.
If you do get a knockout against him, it's more of one of them like the ref stops the fight because he hurt type of thing. Like if you just been hit with a beret punch, but he's still gonna be standing up.
Right. If you get a good one off him, hey, more power to you. Clap, clap. You know, you can say you got one off him, but just knocking him out like Pacquiao got knocked out.
Oh yeah, nah. You will not see Sean Porter sleep. We will not be talking about a Sean Porter sleeping position.
That was a meme for so
bro,
long.
that was the new sleep position was the Pacquiao.
Facts. Yep, Tempur-Pedic.
When you look up the different sleeping positions, you seen the Pacquiao.
Yeah. And then they put this, bro. They put the one that got me was when they had the meme. It was him, and then they had the Simba, like he was.
Wake up, Manny,
yeah.
wake up,
Manny. Oh man. Yeah, that's crazy.
And then with the rest of the time we got left, man, I really do look forward to that fight. I wish I could watch that fight, but with the rest of the time we got left, man, we got 2 topics left. With only 10 minutes. So I don't think we'll be able to get to both of them. So pretty much we're going to pick one.
All right.
You want to talk about Russ?
Yeah, we got to.
Bro.
Yeah. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to, bro. I think we have to.
All right. I mean, I'm down for it, bro.
Okay.
I'm down for either. I was down for either one, bro.
Okay.
Because the other one gives me a chance to talk about my Bulls.
Yeah, that's what I was
we
like.
get to talk about.
Unless you rock, paper, scissors.
Talk about the latest.
No, okay.
You know what? Let's talk about the 6th topic because it gives you a chance to talk about Russ.
There we go. Let's do it.
And then it gives me a chance to talk about my Bulls.
So we put it in one. All right.
Cool. You go first, bro.
Okay, so yeah. So we were talking about the free agent signing that surprised us the most.
Yes.
And the Russell Westbrook one. Because it was I see it was a desperation move.
Yeah.
It's a bad signing. But Kai, they didn't win. They're not in the NBA Finals. There's what 14 games in the season. How could you say this? Blah, blah, blah. Look, man, anyone who has a keen basketball acumen understands how basketball works, right?
Right.
You cannot have 2 ball dominant, turnover prone players on the court at the same time, and that's what Russell Westbrook is. So let's pull up some statistics right here. So I've been watching these games too. The Lakers are my old team. I'm a Charlotte Hornets fan. I know it's weird, but we'll get into that later. I will continue to stake my claim. I'm no longer a Lakers fan. I became a Charlotte Hornets fan, man. All right. Russell Westbrook.
Are you a Hornets fan or are you more just a Melo ball fan?
Oh, I like Lonzo more than LaMelo. That's why I was crazy. I was about to join your Bulls, but I was like, bro, man, I don't know if I can have all my friends be a Bulls, Right. So, yeah, and I can't do the Clippers because, that's like Benedict Arnold, you know what I'm saying? And they got the Dodo Bird as a mascot, Steve Ballmer rubbing on people's legs. But anyway,
that was wild. Pause. I don't know what that was.
Anyway, Russell Westbrook, 19.4 points per game, 8.3 assists, 8.7 rebounds. We understand the statistics. He's shooting 29% from 3.
Hey, can we talk about some turnovers again?
Straight horrible. We're going to get to that. 68% from the free throw line. Here's a stat.
8 from the
free throw line. Right. Westbrook is averaging, Ralph, the most career turnovers per game in NBA history.
That's wild.
4.1. This season, he has a minus 70 in the plus minus. Look, man, Russell Westbrook, I told these Westbrook stands, these Westbrook fans, right? When they say, oh, he plays hard. And look, man, you may feel some type of way, whatever. He plays hard, but he's not smart. In my personal opinion, and I'm not trying to be rude, I just had to say how I feel, bro. And there's other people that feel like me. To me, Russell Westbrook is overrated, bro. If it wasn't for his athleticism, he wouldn't be much. I don't want to say anything, but he's not the player because he's not even really a point guard, right?
No.
When he was with OKC, we had these questions about, okay, what position does he play? They say, well, he needs to play shooting guard, but he can't shoot.
Right.
And he keeps getting worse. So he's
getting gradually worse at shooting.
Right. He came to LA. He talked about the championship, not defining him, all this other stuff. When he's with the Wizards, right? He said, the championship don't change my life. I'm happy. I was a champion once I made it to the NBA. Oh, nice story. I grew up in the streets. I'm a champion. I don't have to be an NBA champion. Okay, cool. I get that. But guess what? You joined the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, so now you got to be an NBA champion.
Right. Well, you have to be a championship mindset,
Yeah. Championship or bust.
Right. So we'll get on to it for the sake of time. Lakers have a 4-5 record without LeBron this season, not a winning record. Russell Westbrook was brought in to alleviate ball handling duties of LeBron James, run the offense. But they have losses to OKC, 9th, Portland, who's 11th in standings, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, They lost a 24-point loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves with Russell Westbrook in the lineup. It took them overtime to beat my Charlotte Hornets, who were on a 4-game losing streak and had the worst defense in the NBA. They couldn't guard anything, right? They couldn't defend the court if they lay on it. That's how bad the Hornets defense was. Lakers, in that game, Lakers were down 78-70 in the third quarter, but Rajon Rondo went in the game and they closed the third quarter with a 94-87 lead. And what happened? Rondo slapped Terry Rozier on the head, got ejected, flagrant foul. Russ comes in, right? And he had 6 turnovers in the fourth quarter. And the lead winds up, bro, every time I watch this, right, they'll have these leads and then Russ will come in the game and he's a minus 70, bro. Like, it's just a bad fit. Other teams look good. LeBron James needs to move Russell Westbrook to the bench. Let him run with the bench troops. Let him run with the Austin Reeves. Surround him with shooters. But with him, with these other players who need the basketball, it just doesn't work. He's turning the ball over. He's not shooting well from 3. Last night against your Bulls, they got shellacked. He was 0 for 4 from the 3-point line. It's just a bad fit, bro. And so that's all I have to say.
Yeah, 19.5 though.
Yeah, he's getting points, the thing, but it's like when he turns the ball over sometimes, and my brother told me this as well, because my brother, shout out to him, he is a Washington Wizards fan, lifelong Wizards fan. He was like, yo, Kai, he's like, Russell Westbrook brings some good things, but there's times when he'll just turn the ball over and no one's around him.
Right.
That's just what he does. And then we look at the playoffs. We have with a 14-year history of, okay, he gets to the playoffs and he doesn't elevate his game in the playoffs.
No.
So Russell Westbrook, we know what he is. And so that's the reason why I don't believe it's going to work at all. So you just need to put him in a different role or you need to get him up out of there because my biggest thing, my last point is they had a chance to get a Lonzo Ball who's on your team. They had a chance to get a Kyle Lowry who's on your team at the point guard position. If you didn't want a point guard, you had a chance to get DeRozan. DeRozan even said he met with the Lakers, but they chose to go in the direction of a Russell Westbrook. They chose to go into the direction of Russell Westbrook over Buddy Hield. So that's all I have to say about the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't believe that Russell Westbrook was a good signing.
And like the crazy thing about it is I'm over here thinking about, like, I had my team picked already, but I was looking at the standings. And it's like the Washington Wizards are first in the East.
Yeah.
And that's crazy at 10-3.
Yeah. They look good too.
Yeah, and they do look good. And it's crazy like because we're like, we all talk. There was so many different conversations, even in our group chat, our guys group chat, where they were talking about Kuzma going to a trash team and looking good on a trash team.
Yeah, but he's playing defense too.
But he's playing good on a team that's first in the East.
Right.
I know it's only 13 games into the season, but hey.
Wes Unseld Jr., Coach of the Year?
Right.
Possibly.
So far, possibly he's got those guys buying in. Right. But we're going to get straight to because we don't got too much time left.
Your team.
But for me, man, I think it can be a couple different things. But I think for the fact that Caruso is not getting buckets within the offense is kind of alarming to me. So that's why I'm in as far as Lonzo being a key pick,
right?
I'm gonna go with DeMar. Was the best acquisition that we could ask for, especially with the fact that he's closing games now.
All right.
He's been hitting the 3 ball at a great clip this season. 38 against the Lakers last night. Killing in the mid-range like he always does. One of the things that me and one of my homies talked about was like when we were going into the season, we always thought like, all right, cool, he's gonna get about 20 to 25. Like we didn't think that the way that the Spurs were playing him,
right.
We didn't think that it was that the Spurs were holding him back. We just thought like, all right, he's lost a little bit, getting up a little older in age. He's not really old, but by any means, but he's 32. So at this point, you start to see that little bit of decline.
Right. Unless you're like a LeBron back then, it's like, oh, yeah.
Right. So it's like, So he's got 37. What are we looking at here? Hold up.
He had 38 last night, right?
38 last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, 38 last night. Excuse me. And then, like, just the ability to hit the 3. He hits 2 out of 5. he hit 3 out of 4 for the against the Celtics. And then it's like and he's shooting 37% from the 3 on average this year. And so it's like it's crazy because we don't necessarily think of him as a 3-point shooter, but it's like this how well he's balling this year, man. He's averaging 27 points, 51% from the field, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal a game. And it just looks so fluid. Him and Zach coming at you 1-2 punch with Vooch, holding it down in the middle. He's out right now because of COVID protocol, but we smacked the Lakers without even having Vooch there. And so
that's another 14 and 10 or something.
Exactly. And so it's like if not 20 and 10, it just depends on how many touchdowns.